We spend a day with music-inspired artist Brian David Downs, who creates striking band posters and fine art.
So my name is Brian David Downs, and I make a lot of art when I'm out here in Spicer. It's a bit quieter out here. I had about 1 million ideas a second in my brain, so having just the quietness of the boonies just allows me to sit in my head a bit, sift through ideas, and really kind of organize. Small town America, small town Minnesota. Basically, if you take one step to the left, you'll have a lake, and you take one step to the right, you got a lake. One step back, you got a lake. And probably one step forward. Yeah, I started out doing the posters basically on necessity of needing it for band I was playing in, needing posters to spread the word. And after just a few of those, other bands seemed to dig my style of poster making, and I pretty immediately started getting poster jobs and being able to hustle it that way. The posters then both work for the band, promoting the shows and getting people out to them, and as well as getting people to check out the more fine arts side of my work by wondering who's making these posters and what they're up to. The posters are very immediate. They're kind of very loud, obnoxious, in your face, and they're basically to be using to basically get your attention and hold your attention until you have gotten all the information off the poster. It's kind of the function of it. So I do try to stay with the function of the poster, not just make an art piece that looks nice on a wall. That's nice that happens, but the big concern is that it's immediate and that it gets the information across to people so they know that the event's happening. The posters start out as like just a quick pencil sketch, mostly freehanding. I'll trace little bits and pieces off of like a Google image search, but mostly it's just freehanding it, and even if it is a trace, I basically obliterate the image with kind of not so much grotesque that I'm trying to go for, but just that loud, obnoxious kind of look to it. I basically just try to stick around stuff I dig, though. I don't really take jobs from anyone I don't, first off, dig to some extent. I have to be entertained by the band for me to really feel like it's necessary for me to do something with the band.
Well, there's a lot of Brian's art I like a lot. Every time I look at his stuff, I do form an opinion one way or another. It's nothing I have no feelings about. One of the purposes of art is to arouse feelings in people, and they don't always have to be positive feelings. They could be negative feelings, but the purpose is to arouse some sort of feelings, and if it doesn't do that, it's failed as an art.
And it works really nice with the posters, because getting kids to come out to art shows where you have a bit slower reads on the art is pretty impossible to do. So having something as far as a poster goes, as much as it's an ad for the band, it really helps me get my name and art out there as well. Yeah, I've been trying to kind of stay in Fluxus series, where the series are more or less so self-referential to themselves and take on a meaning, but with like the posters, with being immediate, the more so fine arts, as some people call it, it's a bit slower read. It slows down the image. It gets you to really take a bit more time and think either what the image is, or if there's some kind of thematics to it, where the posters are very fast, abrasive, but once you're kind of done looking at it and getting the information, that's about all there is to it. With the more fine arts, there's a bit more depth, and you can basically spend years with it, hopefully, and keep gaining new insight on it. Working out in the country gives me a lot more free space in my headroom, not to be distracted, compared to being in a larger city. It's basically me in the outdoors. I'm a pretty big hermit when I'm out in the boonies. It's my dog and me, and then seeing kind of fam, but as far as the art making, it's a pretty isolated process and being. Spicer's nicer. It's quiet. You don't have your big chain stores. There's your gas station and bait shops. Nice little Ma Pa diners. Just the towny folk. They're pretty. I'm a little bit weird looking, so I understand I get a few different looks here and there. Overall, though, the people are really friendly. Just your good old small town folk. It's always been kind of the back and forth between country life and city life, and fortunately or unfortunately, I've become pretty molded to that, of needing kind of both to exist and stay sane.